and take it away.
Splendid, okay. Well, hello and welcome to another Artcore interview. Today we've got Andrii Shafetov, concept artist from Black Forest Games. It's a pleasure to have you here. Hope everything's okay with you today. I'm going to start at the beginning, if that's okay with you, and ask what made you want to be an artist in the first place?
Yeah, basically, probably my childhood passion for gaming itself and for, let's say, video games, because I obviously played not only computer, I mean PC once or console, because my experience started from when I was 6, I guess, or 5, from such old-fashioned PC, which was called Spectrum, if you remember.
Oh yeah.
If it makes sense.
Yeah, I remember that.
And basically defined my, I don't know, my career path and my passion for further. It started from graphics, from doing simple drawings in my childhood, but I didn't took it seriously, obviously, and nobody did.
Yeah.
So I once decided to build my career as a programmer, at least started from education.
Yeah.
After school, for some reason.
That kind of leads me on to my next question, actually.
Yeah.
If you could tell us a little bit about your education, you know.
I have technical background. Yeah, because I have graduated Ukrainian National Technical University to be a radio engineer, I suppose. But I was going to become a programmer from the beginning, but basically my first full-time job, let's say, or maybe freelance job, because I was actually freelancing while being a university student, but then at 20 years, I don't know, I got my first full-time job, which was Ubisoft for the first time. It was, I don't know, 2007.
Was that programming to start with then, was it?
No. I started as an artist there.
Oh,
because
okay.
programming seemed to be really complicated while I was studying, and at some point I started from web design, and I don't know, from basically trying to make some sort of photo manipulation and learning Photoshop and all the things, and I guess I got at least rough experience, maybe 2 years of freelancing or 1 year.
So you didn't actually study as an artist then?
What?
You didn't study as an artist then?
No, I did not. I have technical background as a radio engineer. So I'm a self-taught artist. And yeah, by being too much overwhelmed with my education, I started drawing and I don't know, just liked it. And then I got myself involved into design, I mean graphic design, and then to web design. Basically, I studied Flash a lot, an Illustrator at the time, and Photoshop, of course, and made some small, simple animations like cartoons or, I don't know, stupid kind of banners on Flash, and all the things, let's say. And also was writing some sort of web design. I mean, website layout design.
So your artist skills were quite sort of progressive throughout.
Yeah, exactly. For some reason I broke through, probably started from being exhausted from technical things.
Yeah.
Because this university was rather complicated, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially for people like me who just was like, want to be a programmer but don't have actual mindset for this.
Tim, could I jump in with a question?
Yeah, but
I want to ask about your freelance work. A lot of people.
Which exactly? Because I'm not sure if you guys will be interested in my all freelance work, because I'm completely not finding. Do you expect some sort of, I don't know, concept art or art related, at least digital art related freelance things?
Yeah, because a lot of people consider freelancing in many areas, not just art, as sort of the perfect job. you're not tied down anywhere. You can have your own
Like,
hours. You are your own boss. Would you say that's
mhm.
true? Is it like that? Is it a good job, or is it difficult?
It depends. It really depends on person, let's say, because freelancing is really good, let's say, and paid in most cases, or at least a little bit paid, kind of getting experience. I mean, working experience.
Yeah.
And when you just become professional, and if it's totally fine for you, like work individually, then it's I suppose it's perfectly, because I was freelancing like 1 year without having a full-time job, and I was happy. Like, but at some point, when you have only freelance projects that you are involved into, usually you work more than
Yeah. Working more hours.
way more.
Yeah.
Because it really depends on your efforts that you are putting into.
Yes,
More hours you work, then more you earn.
of
So,
course. How did you find the work? Because I think that's a lot of people. For a lot of people, that's the scary part. They're sitting there.
fine
They
work.
have some skills, but how to find
Yeah,
find the work?
it's pretty much stressful, I suppose. But stressful part is like interview usually. So when you need to speak with the client, actually, and probably, yeah, this is it, the like starting point. And when you got involved, then things become easier.
Where did you find the client?
Do you mean from the beginning, or?
Well, just in general. I mean, where do you start?
Because when I started, it was for me easier to find time, obviously, because I haven't had my family, my full-time job, and yeah, education part was a bit easier to ignore, let's say. And in other cases, I was freelancing, like quite my full-time job for freelancing, and then obviously that was like really hard and stressful part, because I was working probably too much, because I got myself involved into too much projects at the same time, and it's really exhausting. And also there was a period when I like combined my full-time job with freelance, which is also obviously too hard. And you need to sacrifice your whole free time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is it worth it or not? That depends. Depends on what you want to get as a result.
What you're after in life. Yeah. Do you, I mean,
Yes.
do you think your web design and your programming, do you think that's helped you as a concept artist in any way?
This helped me to get involved into Ubisoft from the first time, because I was having working on Ubisoft 2 times. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Because I got my picture stuck. All right.
Yeah, we can hear you. Everything's okay.
It's frozen.
Good.
Still hear you.
First time I was hired as a university student, so I was working like half a day as a digital artist, but I was also involved in the interface design, which is obviously tightly related to web design itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, usability wise.
Yeah.
So it helped me a lot, at least my experience,
Definitely.
basic experience in web design. But my website, I suppose, I mean, now I suppose they were bad, let's say, not to be rude.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It helps you get your foot in the door, though, for sure.
Yes. And then I passed the probational period, and have been working there 1 year and a half. So I started from a console version for Blazing Angels 2, flight simulator from World War II, if you do all this game, but that makes sense. And then I got involved into Tom Clancy's Hawks, which is either flight simulator on the same engine than Blazing Angels are.
Yeah.
Okay, Andrii, we have a first question from one of our audience members, Dato. He wanted to ask, because he heard you say so casually that your first full-time job was with Ubisoft. So he says, well, how did you manage to start with your first job with such a big, respectable
I was a bit sarcastic because
company?
I wasn't really very professional this time. It's kind of silly, but I was too proud of this thing. And now when I don't know, just like turning back and looking at my experience during those days, I feel myself ashamed and confused. But I don't know. I think I was successful with this in small part, which Ubisoft demanded to do for me. How I did involved? Ubisoft was a small startup during those days. So basically, they were working about.
What year was that, if you don't mind me asking?
I mean, Ukrainian facility of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Into which I basically have been hired. It was like a facility from Ubisoft Bucharest, like built in Kiev in Ukraine, and it was pretty much small. So there were 12 people at least, as I remember. And I was like the youngest because I was 20, I believe, or something, or 19 even. And the other guys were 30 plus, something like that. It's weird. But I was the only artist there during those times.
You're the only artist?
Yeah, but they were impressed with my first freelance background of web design. So 2 years of freelancing, like doing simple stuff and learning different, not frameworks, but programs like Flash, Illustrator, and back in the day, it was also some web design software. Was extremely useful, and I don't know. I passed an interview in Ubisoft, which was very stressful. I remember.
Yeah, what was like maybe?
Because guys had huge concerns regarding my experience and everything.
Yeah. What was the interview process like?
What this interview? Basically, they wanted just to be sure that I like know and can everything they need. So I was offered a PC and then designing an interface, I believe, for the game.
The test.
I didn't know which one because it was not announced at the time for me. And yeah, so I did in 1 hour layout for menu with different presentation of things like different button states, background picture, whatever I could in the shortest.
So you basically you had to just prove that you could do.
Yeah.
Job.
And then it was a part of discussion and explaining what the hell it is, why it's so, and yeah. And then I have been also asked regarding my education, regarding my portfolio pieces, regarding my English skills, and all the things. I don't know. And then I got hired in a month, I believe, because they were decided for a month or something. I don't remember.
Yeah. And you mentioned your portfolio there. You mentioned your portfolio.
Yeah. You mean to them?
Well, what was it like back then?
It was some stupid thing. I believe in WebLancer was this website for things like this.
Yeah.
WebLancer or I don't know, template mods or something like that. I don't remember exactly because I don't use those addresses anymore. And yeah, it contained some game-related things, animations, really simple ones.
Yeah.
Also interfaces presented by websites, layouts. Also some not programmer but scripting things made in Flash. So I don't know. I believe I was suitable, but I left in 1 year and a half because my contract got over and Ukrainian studio didn't get another project to work on. So I left for 5 years or 6, and yeah. And during those years, I have been working in different freelance, full-time, or other game-related projects because Ubisoft obviously defined my career.
Yeah.
Because I imagined it to be like related to art, and definitely related to games. So I had 2 criteria, but I didn't have like specific objections, like I want to be a concept artist, or I want to be an interface artist, or I want to be an animator, or whatever. So just didn't care, and probably it's my big mistake. It was my big mistake.
You think?
Because, I think so, because when you like really know what you want to work on, what you want to do, basically, then it's easier to you. Then if you don't, you probably might be learning a lot of different things that at some point you can suppose that they're not useful.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Didn't face it because my knowledge helped me extremely in any cases, even the stupidest thing that I have been learning at some point. You never know. They might be useful in, I don't know, in something else. Because
it might be a good time to start your demo, if that's okay.
All right. All right. Sorry.
See if you can manage the painting and talking.
Yeah. Andrii, could you tell us a little bit about what you're going to show us today in the demo?
Do you see my line?
What you will work on? Yes, we can see your screen. Yeah.
I don't even know. Basically, if you guys have any objections, because I was going to start any environment work, because this is, let's say, my comfort zone.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, sort of environment piece. I believe it should be 30 dpi, but I'm not sure if my laptop will handle it, so I will leave it 100, let's say. But I used to work on 300 usually.
I'm going to carry on asking some questions, if that's okay, Andrii.
Yeah, of course.
You now work at Black Forest Games.
Yeah, I do.
Can you tell us, like, how's a sort of typical day for you there? How does it kind of play out?
Basically, I can delve you more on my experience, aside from Ubisoft, from different other companies, because I left Ubisoft 1 year ago, and now I'm working in Black Forest for 1 year. And it's probably would be good to explain the difference to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a question I've got down here, actually. You could tell us.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
Here we have pretty much a small team in the company, which like highly impressed me, because when I joined, here were 30 people, I believe. Now there are 50. It makes a lot of things easier, let's see. I mean, the communication
with a smaller team, did you say?
What?
Did you say it makes it easier with a smaller team?
Yes, of course. And all questions that are arising can be like resolved directly with the management.
Yeah.
So it's the main difference from Ubisoft, and of course of its project size, because now the project that we are developing is more complicated than it was, because Black Forest was developing like simple console games, arcade ones. The one I'm working on, not sure if I'm allowed to speak about it yet, because under NDA, but still, it's way more complicated. And my experience, and there are other guys from Ubisoft. I met some Ubisoft mates here, because the world is kind of tight. And some guys from Crytek, some from Royal. So it seems to be a good team to work with. Pretty much impressed with this. And now the project is more complicated, which requires a lot of efforts, and can basically do a lot of different things. Not only the one that are usually defined by your, let's say, mandatory when you work in a huge project, because they basically cannot allow themselves to like let people work on things they want to. It's welcome in Ubisoft though, but in most cases you have your tasks strictly defined, and you are prohibited like to change them.
a bit more sort of
And it really makes sense because it's really hard to create exactly how project is being developed, because you should like uphold the mandatory. I'm not gonna say that it's bad. It's really makes sense with huge projects, but the smaller ones allow you to apply your talents in different areas. For instance, you can draw different concept art thing for yourself, for modelers, for everybody. You can work on, like programmer can work on rendering, on physics, on whatever, on interface. So it's main difference actually.
Could I just jump in, following on from the working ethic sort of idea? We have a question from the audience. What does it look like working with an art team or an art director? How does the hierarchy work?
In huge project, basically, you usually don't work with art director. I mean, directly. You have your lead, and this is your boss. And basically, you shouldn't care about anybody else. So he knows like project scope. He knows how it should be in most cases, and then transfers your assets further. Art director is really huge and busy person, which like judges project. I mean overall, but art directors usually got involved in the pre-production.
Yeah.
So he defines like the way which everybody should follow. This is like in short words how it's being worked directly. But the work is being validated and verified by leads usually. So I mean team leaders in high structure. Here in Black Forest, basically things are easier. So art director is taking part. I mean, communicating with each artist.
Yeah.
And each programmer.
So it's
basically more, the same, but
they're a bit more freedom at.
It makes things more quick, and if you need, oh damn it, it's lagging. Try to make it a bit more. Excuse me, guys. Terribly sorry, but my laptop. I'm not gonna handle it. Maybe Hangouts is lagging, but. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split this. I'm going to work on vertical piece, let's say. And I want to split it into simple shapes to define the basic composition. I have really messy brushes here, excuse me, because my brush setup is on my PC, but laptop doesn't have it. Do you see it all?
Is that only a small amount of brushes you got there then?
No, it's huge amount. But I'm using brushes from different other people's, like Etanzana, Reed Southern, and I don't know. I don't remember. Shari Safadi, I believe, of Enzu. Somebody's, let's say.
You normally have
all credits belong to those guys.
Would you normally have a smaller collection of brushes then, would you?
Do you mean me? I had them sorted because I don't need obviously all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is it. And here's new upcoming brush set, let's say, from Gregor Rutkowski, I believe. And I was going to try it, but I didn't have such opportunity. I'll start on thumbnailing, but my PC just don't allow me to do so.
Andrii, I have a question about brushes. Do you create your own? Have you ever created your own brushes that you use in projects?
Usually, I mean, for artistic things, I'm using other people's brushes because to me it seems good to rely on professionals. Let's say. I'm creating brushes for like patterns usually to get used somewhere, like stamps, like traces, like chains, maybe leaves, tree leaves or grass, some simple things.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much.
So yeah. But usually they're used once, I mean only once, for one specific thing. Like I want to chain being, I don't know, twisted in some different way. So I can create a brush with it and then it look like natural. In most cases.
Andrei, I'm going to ask you another question, if that's okay. Is there anything about the games industry that you didn't really expect before you were working within it?
Didn't expect?
Yeah. Is there any sort of like an eye-opening moment?
Basically, I would suggest then I was impressed in a good way more. So like appeared more than I expected. I mean, good one. But also there were some more like complicated things because usually people consider game development industry as bad paid in comparison to software development. I don't really know because I haven't ever worked in software development. So maybe that's the case. Because usually it consists from people who love the games, maybe. I don't know what I'm doing. And to split it and get some sort of abstractive.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the studio where you work now?
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the studio where you work now?
I moved to Germany 1 year ago. I mean, to join Black Forest. Yeah, before I was working on Ubisoft, and a particular reason to leave Ubisoft and join the studio was to get my skills, let's say, applied more. Because my main area of responsibility on Assassins, I mean on Syndicate and Unity, was the interface development stuff, which make them a bit different in comparison to Black Flag. But working with Unity and Syndicate requires like huge technical understanding. Here, basically, I can work on artistic stuff, obviously. I mean, environment concept art, technical concept art, which, just to explain in short words, is related to some technical things that exist in game. For instance, you can have complex armor, and it can have also a lot of upgrades and different additions on it, and they should somehow match together and work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're trying to create something universal to make the thing being applied one onto another, and support those armor plugins, and this is pretty much technical stuff. And it also should look like, I mean, in-game style to be corresponding. So yeah. Also, I'm working on some VFX stuff. Yeah. So to me, it seems a lot of things to apply here, and I don't know. This is what I like. Regarding the company, did you mention projects? I mean, the project from the first, or what specifically is the question?
You've worked on some big titles.
Actually, on only one. I mean, Assassin's Creed franchise. Probably Tom Clancy's Hawks. Assassin's Creed is the only one title I have been working on.
And what was it like working on Assassin's Creed? What kind of input did you have?
That was exciting. Definitely, yeah. It was exciting to see your. They are rather small to think you're doing because project is obviously huge, but it's exciting to see them in the game. If you're talking regarding Unity or Syndicate, that was purely interface things related to PC version. In most cases, or console, small games and 8 things. It's not that much exciting, but the interface itself there was really interesting to work on because they have really powerful and cool framework. It's a corporate Ubisoft framework, so you're never gonna find outside the Ubisoft.
I have a quick question about the interface. I sort of, obviously, I'm not in the industry, so I don't understand many aspects of it. By interface, I think you mean you're talking about the menus and the way you interact with the game. Is that correct?
In most cases, as a result, you have working interface in the game, which consists of menus, yeah, of course, and different interaction. Because interface in game industry can look like a game. I mean, if it's diegetic, so it can look like, I don't know, widget the character just putting out from his pocket and trying to manipulate like cell phone game or something. It's also interface.
Okay, and for a project such as Assassin's Creed Syndicate or Unity, whichever one, this element that you were responsible for, or the element you were working on, so the interface, how many hours would you say in total for the whole project would it take? How many hours work from you to complete it?
From me, like if you're working without any overtimes, which are usually pretty much like usual thing, you're working 30 hours per week, like everywhere. Project
30 hours a week.
What?
Did you say 30 hours a week?
30, yeah.
Yeah.
40, excuse me. Basically, yeah, 40 hours per week, like everywhere. And the project has been developed like for a year. So we can count, but I'm too lazy for that probably, excuse me. If you need me to count precisely, I can. All right.
No, I mean, I think we get the idea. I might calculate it in a minute. Just.
Come on. I'm also interested. And the stupid calculator thing isn't loading. Here, but all right. And 22 days per month. So 22, we should multiply on 40, and then to 12.
Oh, sorry, you said 40 hours a week, not 30.
40, yeah, 40. Excuse me, my bad. So let me start already refining. So I got this stupid thing, defined into simpler shapes. I usually prefer to start from simple forms to get any kind of good composition, at least to tweak it a bit. My Photoshop is not handling too much layers, excuse me guys, so I need to merge them before.
So just I've calculated it's over 2,000 hours of work, Andrii.
Yeah. Usually. But you know, in this case the engine have been developed already, because if it hasn't, like for instance on Black Flag, they were using engine from, I don't know, previous generation, and in Unity and Syndicate it was totally next gen, and this engine has been developed for a few years, I'd assume. I mean, overall, projects usually take place like 2-3 years maybe. And if you're like working in UIP, something, let's say the Division, then you can like work on it probably 4 years, or how long you've been developed, I don't remember exactly. So yeah, I think people should prepare themselves, and each project usually take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And they agree to work on project for, let's say, 3 years or 2 years. Then okay.
If I may speak about what you're doing here at the moment, just for a moment, with this beginning stage of the thumbnail that you're putting together, are you thinking about any of the compositional rules or anything, or are you just kind of going for it?
Usually start from using abstract brush for thumbnailing, but my stupid laptop is lagging, so I just started from the first thumbnail that I got. I'm trying to define simple shapes. I have something in my mind that I want to draw.
Yeah.
I want this piece to be like, this composition to be vertical. And yeah. So basically I have this simple setup. This could be anything like we want. That really depends on imagination. So we can have this planet at the bottom, and then it will be space and ship is flying, something like this. I will show you, just quickly show you.
But you're not thinking, oh, you know, the third
No, I'm just
rule or anything like that.
Hmm.
You just
There
go
could be on surface of the ship flying over the planet, or it could be the wall. I mean, the dark, this triangle, and we have foreground here. This really depends on. So yeah, I just started from abstract shape, and if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to interrupt me anytime. I will try to explain the composition because I'm already applying.
Yeah. It's nice when you get the perspective lines on there. It kind of brings it together a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. Because I want to manage this from left to right, and at least tweak a bit. I think a big correspondent. It's always good to do because.
Andrei, you're working as you know as an employee in a studio, in-house studio.
Yeah, basically my position is called game artist.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to call myself. I'm doing some environment concept art work, some props design, interface, I don't know, some VFX. I don't know how to call myself. Versatile people are very welcome here, which is good to me, I believe. It's never boring, but let's say if you want to become a professional in something like single, not all the things, then it's probably would serve bad.
Do you think you'll stick with that kind of way of working, or do you think maybe freelance perhaps in the future?
I'm not sure because freelance ate all my time in previous places, and now I don't know. I don't even know. I want to just have rest from it at least a bit. In the future, probably, because basically now when I have some free time to dedicate into something, I'm doing my own pieces. I'm trying to develop myself as an artist, learning 3D, doing some sort of personal things. So we always have to do anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly commission. So
I have a question. You mentioned 3D, and someone from the audience, Dato, his second question, he wanted to know if you have any experience with 3D graphics, whether it's something you want to do or something you've done before.
that depends. At university, I also have been studying 3D Max, which appeared to be useful for concept art. Yeah, it's great time saver. And if you want to employ as a concept artist, I mean pure concept artist, like 3D knowledge it became a requirement now, I would say.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely more artists.
Now I'm using Model thanks to one of my mates from Ubisoft who showed me, because I used to disregard Model before, but thanks. And it's really comfortable and easy to learn. Let's say software for 3D. It's extremely useful.
Sorry, Andrei. What program was that?
Foundry Modo.
Modo.
Write it down if you guys need. Can I use chat? In Hangouts? Or
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. YouTube. Excuse me. Yeah, got that. So yeah, this is how it's been called. But this thing is expensive, I suggest. I mean, in comparison to Photoshop and everything, like standalone license takes something like 1,000 and a half, maybe. I don't remember. It's pretty much expensive, but definitely worth it. There is a special program from Autodesk and I believe from Foundry for students, allowing to learn this software. So you may find the way. I would recommend it because it's really easy to learn. I mean, for artists, and as an output, it gives you really good quality render, where you just don't need to set up manually anything. It's good by default.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some sort of complicated things, of course, you probably might use Maya or 3D Max, but I mean, for quick things, Modelwork looks good.
And that kind of leads me to my next question. Do you ever use traditional art mediums?
Yes, I did. I have been like doing graphic line art for myself.
Yeah.
Using pencils, obviously.
Yeah.
In my childhood and during my university time, but this ended like this. So I didn't use like painting regular way. So, did it help me or not? I believe so.
Yeah.
Because while being drawing those things, I was really missing fundamentals in art. So I didn't know anatomy. I didn't know. I knew nothing. Let's say. Because,
I have quite a specific question from an audience member, from Misha. The question is, do you have any tips for, or any ideas of the process for drawing snowy forest scenes so that you can do many thumbnails in, let's say, 2 hours for a script or storyboarding while still maintaining the atmosphere?
Oh, that is specific.
for snowy forests.
Maybe let's break it down. So, in general, do you have any tips for creating storyboards while maintaining the atmosphere, but doing them reasonably quickly?
As a storyboard artist at all, so I'm afraid just to be like incorrect and impolite. And tips to provide storyboards. It's really. I don't know, to me it seems like a comics. If you're a good comic book artist, you can like express the emotion with proper, let's say, image frame composition. For storyboards, it's good also to apply this knowledge, let's say, to define the proper motion, because I have no idea what motion should be for those storyboards in snowy forest. So, yeah.
How about, I mean, would you have any tips on when it comes to
just find an inspiration from the comics, and it really depends what does he want to show there.
How about would you have any tips for just painting snowy forests, even like colors?
He can also make some sort of thumbnailing. I mean, to recreate the motion of what he wants to in really quick and rough way in different multiple frames, small frames.
Yeah.
Just make a bunch of frames on paper or in Photoshop document, and just try to apply a scene motion there in very rough way, because usually if we're working on our own thing and have something on our mind, we can easily redefine and then revive those pictures from those quick sketches. Let's see, maybe it can help at least a bit.
Are environments your preference? Do you do much characters or game assets and stuff?
What? I didn't hear you.
Environments, are they your preference? What you prefer?
Yes, I believe it's my passion. because I would like to know how to like make characters, obviously, but I cannot call myself a good character artist, unfortunately. But I'm learning at some point now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can maybe show you something, please. But don't want to interrupt you. But feel free. If you need me to show some project that I have been working on, I mean, during freelancing or something, just let me know. Because, yeah. So here's something that I got. Here I'm gonna build a composition for this thing.
Yeah.
We have. Let me turn it off. A bunch of shapes, which from far look like triangles. In let's say this matching pattern from left to right, and one circle. So if I want to have vertical kind of composition, basically.
Do you think composition is one of the most important things?
I believe so, yeah. For illustration, at least. The composition thing probably not that much important for concept art because it really depends on what you're doing. Because if you're working on props, then composition doesn't make sense at all because you're drawing a bunch of chairs, let's say chairs or tables.
Yeah.
In environment case, composition makes this piece presentable, and usually it defines. I mean, for level designer, where the player character will be standing or what he'll be doing. For level design, it's important because they need at some point sometimes adjust camera manually just to focus on different things.
Yeah.
Usually those things I mentioned with those concept art pieces. So yeah, here's my composition. I basically wanted. I'm gonna represent the actual flow for viewer that I want to do. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll ask you another question unrelated to the demo, but do you have sort of favorite artists that you take inspiration from?
A bunch of people. A lot of them. I guess I should call few maybe because all guys from everywhere, from the Facebooks and from the station itself. I mean, good ones are worth following, and I'm really.
But no one in particular.
Maybe, I was greatly influenced from the very beginning by Craig Mullins, good brush, and Sid Mead. Then I was like also fond of Scott Robertson, perspective things, all the things, greatly influenced. But basically, in regard to environments and everything else, I was very much influenced by Ethan Zana, Nick Gendreau, I believe, Aaron Limon, guys from Naughty Dog, including Maciej Kuchar and Shadi Safadi, because they also have been working on Naughty Dog, as far as I know, previously. What else? I mean, in 3D case, I really much Vitaly Bulgarov. Just completely amazing and impossible, brilliant things he's doing.
Andrii, could you write the names of some of these artists just quickly in the chat so that I could send them to the people watching? I think they would be interested.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Evan Amundsen. Really quick. Sorry for interruption. Excuse me. Yeah.
All Andrei, you said earlier about being into games when you were younger. Do you play computer games much now?
I usually play games on YouTube, unfortunately, because I don't have time. But yeah, I played a lot and trying to play a lot when I have an opportunity. So
yeah, just too much time working.
Yes, because I always have something to learn, and more I learn, then more kind of stupid I feel myself, because there's way more to learn again and again. So
yeah,
I didn't mention all of them. I don't know. There's a lot of things and a lot of guys. It seems enough because I believe I wrote down his name correctly. Those guys are famous, and I don't know. Everybody knows them. I should know. So yeah, here's my composition flow.
yeah.
So I wanted to start from this hole, let's say, this point one. I want it to be darker than the foreground, but way less contrast. But my focal point, I believe it will be this one. So other two are secondary. So basically, this is like classic sort of composition with thirds.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, try to explain more precisely.
Sorry, can I jump in with a question from the audience?
Yeah.
We have a question with regards to the tools you use in Photoshop. Obviously, I see that the software you're using is Photoshop.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite tool or a favorite go-to brush or effect? So something when you're stuck, you think, oh, I'll try this tool or I'll try this effect.
I don't have any objections and any preferences. In this case, I'm all trying to learn something new. And there's a lot of cool stuff, let's say, which is coming and coming. Different brushes, different plugins for Photoshop, like fancy color wheels, fancy perspective tools, which I don't have here, unfortunately. But all right. Yes, and in regard to software, my biggest mistake was, for example, disregarding Modo, which appeared to be very nice software. I mean that you definitely need to at least have a precise look on new software which is upcoming, and you never know of its possibilities until you try.
Andrei, could you explain that green grid that you put on there, please?
Yes, this is like basic rule of thirds, let's say, which defines not few, but two focal points if you want to user to look at. So I would have one primal, and here will be the second one. So something will be standing here, and something will be happening there. So yeah, this is what it will all be about. But I want to viewers flow to start from point 1, move to point 2, and then to 3. That's why my shapes are a bit rotated at a certain angle, just to lead the point correctly. So this line leads from point 1 to 2, this one then to 3. It doesn't have to be precise. So, and those are just moving back. So this is why it looked so. I don't know if it makes sense or not. So this is what I'm looking to. Yeah. Am I clear?
Yeah, that works to me. Yeah.
All right, then good. But it's like nothing specific. It's typical, pretty much typical rule of thirds. So,
yeah.
Yeah, this is how I build this. Nothing like fancy.
It's good to know these these rules, though, for sure.
There are a lot of them, but this one is the most common. I would say the easiest one. So,
Well, I'm just going to go through the last few of my questions, if that's okay.
yeah. Excuse me, can you remind it?
Sorry?
Can you remind the question?
Yes, sorry. I'm just wondering how you relax, or do you even relax, or are you always painting, designing, or what do you do in your spare time?
I don't want you guys to consider me as a robot or something. Basically, I'm happy to work on my own things. So when I have an opportunity to learn something, to draw for myself what I want, it's good kind of relaxation for me. It may sound stupid, but it is. Also, I like traveling a lot together with my wife now. This is what basically we are doing now. And earlier I was involved in the sport, which was at some point I just tried to lose some weight, but then I just liked it in a few years. Now I quieted, unfortunately, but I will.
What sport, Andrii? What are your favorite
It
sports?
was fitness from the beginning, but then it just moved to weightlifting. Simple,
Okay.
nothing like fancy. Just don't see me as a professional. I was doing sport for myself, and just to be fit. I don't know what else. Of course, watching movies, playing games.
Yeah.
If I can. But yeah, I would prefer to work on my own piece. If I would have to choose something, I would like to work.
Andrii, do you ever get inspiration from music? What sort of music do you listen to? Is that an element in your life?
Not anymore, I believe, because now I'm usually listening to some sort of background music, and I'm pretty much nostalgic to games, and I'm listening a lot of soundtracks, like just bunch of weird 8-bit NES soundtracks sometimes, or 16-bit for Sega or something.
Yeah.
I don't have any like preferences in music. Usually it's just background, but I don't know. Since my youth, I used to listen, let's say, punk and rock or punk rock, but now I'm not doing, you know. So I consider me as a, I don't know. I'm listening everything I like. Usually background music, so I don't really care what's playing. I'm trying to find the right soundtrack for what I'm doing, and to make things now.
Do you have a main goal with your work, like a dream job, perhaps?
Or a dream project maybe as well?
This may sound stupid, but I don't. Basically, thing that I'm proud of, and which is very useful for finding work. I can make any project I work. My favorite, at least for the time I'm working on.
Well,
So,
I think we've kind of come to the end.
There are some people that are doing this work, but not the project itself. Because usually people tend to consider, like, if I would be working on next Uncharted, then I will, I don't know, put more effort. But in this like casual mobile thing, I don't really care. This is a stupid point of view because there's no reason to do your job bad. I mean, at least to have this intention from the beginning. I believe people should like do the best they can, and
Sure.
at least if it's work related, not because of kind of responsibility or something, or I don't know, because you're gonna do what you're gonna do or whatever. Just because this like defines you as a bad professional. If you're doing like from the beginning intentionally bad work. No. So I don't have such problems, unfortunately.
Andrei, we've come to the end of the time now.
Oh, really?
Leaves me to say just a big thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation then. Basically, I didn't show you nothing, excuse me. For me, it's hard to talk and to draw at the same time.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And yeah, you just...
It's not a problem. Maybe I've just asked the audience for a few more questions, so we could finish up with some questions from the audience. And whilst I obviously don't know, Andrii, if your work will be finished, maybe you could finish it in your own time. There's no rush, and then we could share it in our group and just say, you know, this is what the finished piece looked like.
Going to do, yes, exactly.
Fantastic.
Because there's really nothing here. Probably talking too much.
Okay, so
shouldn't be.
One of the questions from the audience I have from Misha again is, Andrii, how do you balance your family life and your art life? So for example, on a free day at the weekend, what would your schedule be like? Would it be relaxed, or would you have a sort of schedule?
This is a really important question, by the way. To me, it seems to be really important to define what's important or not. Because I'm not sure if somebody got to sacrifice his family for doing something, because it just doesn't worth it. You can just believe me. And yeah, and if you have the right person that you are together with, I mean, you're beloved, then this person will just understand you and your needs either. So he or she not gonna prohibit you to draw, to work, or whatever. So it's really good to define the right person.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Andrii.
And regarding the time, right, probably I didn't answer, but right.
No, yeah,
I'm
go
not sure
ahead.
if the guy.
Go ahead.
Because yeah, there are usually a lot of things which are eating, just stupidly eating your time, and the easiest way is just to get rid of them, and it seems enough, more than enough, and you don't need to sacrifice your family life or your something. And if you're like got overwhelmed with stupid work or a lot of things you don't like, then and you want to do something else, then maybe it just worth start doing it and not like waste time on working on something else. So yeah.
Sounds like good advice to me.
Probably. Thanks.
Yeah, I've just got the last call for any final questions out now. I think it's very easy to get distracted today with all of the social media, all of the, you know, phones, laptops, everything at people's disposal. So it's difficult to chase a passion like yours.
Because if you really like to do this, then you would have time. If you constantly, like permanently don't have time, then maybe you don't really like it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, for me, it's pretty much obvious. And I'm pretty much busy, for example. So,
I see. Okay.
Don't even know.
We don't have any more questions coming in, so I think we can wrap up. So Tim, do you want to say the final words and wrap it up?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time, Andrii, and it's been a huge honor to have an artist of your caliber here with us for Artcore and for the community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the invitation, guys, and keep up a good work, because yeah, I learned a lot from the Artcore itself. So really grateful for this.
That's awesome to hear.
2 years ago, 2 years, I believe. Time flies.
Yeah.
Right? So it was extremely useful for me as well. Unfortunately, I don't have time to post there. I mean, as often as I do want to, but at least we'll try.
No problem. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in to our interview.
And good luck tomorrow, guys.
And good night. And
Nice
we hope to see you again soon with another awesome interview. So see you soon.
Thanks a lot. See you.
Cheers. Bye.